The Zelda character Tingle almost had his own horror game. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, Tingle is a 35-year-old man who loves money, floats around on a balloon, and wants a fairy companion, even though he himself believes he is the reincarnation of a fairy. Is he clinically insane? Probably. Even his dad thinks so.
Blimey, where is he? That spoiled child is off playing hooky again. A child his age has no business searching for fairies.
Tingle first appeared in Majora's Mask as a cartographer selling maps to Link. He really didn't play that big a role in the game, so by all means, that should have been the last time we saw him. Yet, for some weird reason, Tingle stuck to the Zelda series like an itchy rash. Tingle went on to feature in Oracle of Ages, The Wind Waker, Four Swords Adventures, Minish Cap, and has continued to make cameo appearances. For instance, there is a doll of him in Skyward Sword, there's an island named after him in Breath of the Wild, and there is a minigame charlatan who dresses the same as him in Twilight Princess. And that's not mentioning his inclusion as a playable character in Hyrule Warriors, and his role in Super Smash Bros. As an assist trophy, a spirit, and a floating platform on the Great Base Stage. So, as you can see, Tingle has had an illustrious career in the Zelda franchise and beyond. However, that's not the full story. We're missing one slice of the Tingle pie, one which Zelda fans have been trying to hide since 2006. Tingle has his own franchise. Not a joke! In 2006, the Japanese gaming company Vanpool got the licensing from Nintendo to make a game entirely centered around Tingle. It was known as Freshly Picked Tingle's Rosy Rupeeland, a top-down adventure game for the DS where your life is literally centered around your wallet. Literally. To complete the game, you need to collect hundreds of thousands of rupees. Talking to people requires rupees. Fighting enemies requires rupees. Entering dungeons, you guessed it, requires rupees. And if by chance your wallet gets to 0, you die. That's this game's version of a game over. The worst part about this game is that it doesn't tell you how much things cost. Each time you barter with somebody, you have to guess the amount of rupees needed. So if you guess too low, then they'll take your rupees and refuse to help you. And if you guess too high, then they'll help you, but they're going to take every single rupee you offered, even if they would have accepted fewer rupees. So in a weird way, it's like an endless game of the price is right. For better or for worse, Freshly Picked Tingle's Rosy Rupeeland never made it to North America. It was only released in Japan and Europe. Oh, and before I forget, in 2007, IGN proclaimed Freshly Picked Tingle's Rosy Rupeeland to have the scariest box art of all time. I can see why. Regardless, that was just the beginning. A year later, Nintendo and Vanpool developed Tingle's Balloon Fight DS, which is a reskin of Balloon Fight from the NES, with Tingle as the Balloon Man. It even had a gallery mode with unlockable pictures of the man in green. Following that, in 2009, the Too Much Tingle Pack released on the DSi in Japan. The quote-unquote game was a collection of seemingly random utilities. It had a timer, a coin toss game, an app for a dancing Tingle doll, a fortune-telling game, and a calculator which had an extra mode for deciding how much a man and woman should pay when eating out together. It could only be purchased with 500 DS points, and in January 2010, it was removed from the shop. But hey, hold on to your green pantyhose, because 2009 is also when Vanpool released the greatest game of all time, Ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love, the point-and-click adventure with a plot vaguely inspired by The Wizard of Oz. At the start of the adventure, Tingle is sucked into a picture book, and to escape he needs to dance with the princess of the kingdom. Along the way, Tingle is joined by a tiny scarecrow, a tin woman, and a cowardly lion. I wonder where those are inspired from. Almost the entire game is played with the touchpad, and although the game was never localized outside of Japan, these dedicated lovers of Tingle translated it into English in 2017, after 5 years of development. Despite how niche this game sounds, Ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love sold more than 33,000 units in its first week of sales, which, for a game released exclusively in Japan without a large fan base, is quite the accomplishment. So, bolstered by this success, Vanpool began working with Nintendo to make one more Tingle game, one which would be unlike all the others before it, a Tingle horror game. Development began in 2010. However, tragedy struck that same year, when the project, died. Yeah, kind of a bummer, it just died off really abruptly. Everything we know about this game comes from a single quote from an interview between Nintendo and the website Kotaku. Looking back to 2010, we were developing a horror game with Vanpool that starred Tingle as the main character, but that project was canceled due to a variety of reasons. Unfortunately, no other game has been made about our middle-aged hero since. Okay, thinking cap time. What the heck was Vanpool thinking? I don't think I'm alone when I say this. A Tingle-centered horror game sounds absolutely insane. If it was like Luigi's Mansion, I guess it could work, but this sounds like the type of project that would shoot itself in the foot by being too outlandish, which, if we're being completely honest, is probably the reason it was canceled in the first place. I mean, please understand, I love Tingle. I think his games are charming and, in a strange way, cute. But I'm relieved that they didn't go through with this idea. And hey, that's just me. I'll leave it to you to come to your own conclusions. If you want to learn more about the weirdest speedruns that exist for Ocarina of Time, click here. And to learn about the actual hottest and coldest places in Breath of the Wild, click here. I hope you learned something new about everyone's favorite hero in green. Until I see you next time, have fun, storming the castle.